How's everyone doing? Who's ready for some science? Let me ask you a few questions. Who use social networks here? Who use online shopping? Or what about watching TVs and movies and playing games online? Well, every day we connect ourselves to the internet, and every day we trust companies like Facebook, eBay, and Apple to keep our most sensitive information safe. But have you considered that these companies are at risk of losing this information to hackers? 2 years ago, eBay was subject to one of the largest cyber attacks in history. More than 140 million accounts were lost to hackers. And with a list of emails, passwords, and phone numbers, hackers can use that information to get into other web services using similar credentials. The worst of all, it doesn't stop with eBay. There are so many more. Sony, Apple, LinkedIn, MySpace, the list goes on and on. Each time something like this happens, a digital pandemic follows. It is truly catastrophic. So what is the problem behind all this? It turns out the problem is the way we communicate. It's vulnerable to hackers. Let me tell you how we currently communicate on the internet. So we put our credit card details, our email address, our phone numbers into a digital safe. And then we lock it with some kind of password, which is a digital string of ones and zeros. Now, we then upload this box somewhere on the internet where it can be accessed by dozens of web services online, and we send them the key, where they can use that key to open the safe and look at the information. But there's nothing on the internet today to stop a hacker from coming along and downloading a copy of that information as well. And not only that, he can intercept a key, a password, during transmission to one of the web services and make a copy of it for himself that he can open your safe. And then you can access all of your most sensitive secrets, private data, and personal information from underneath your nose. You will never have found out until you tell somebody about it. Now, this is the state of the web today. I'm here to tell you is that we can solve all these problems using quantum physics. It all began about 100 years ago. A group of scientists got together at Brussels, just 50 miles away from here, at the Survey Institute of Physics and Chemistry. They got there to discuss a big issue that later became one of the greatest discoveries of the 20th century. Some of these people you might recognize. Albert Einstein, who invented general relativity, as you heard before from Christoph. Max Planck, my personal hero, he invented quantum physics. He's the one that came up with the word quantum, which I will explain later. And then there's Mr. Schrödinger, who, despite winning the Nobel Prize in physics, he's really only famous for telling the story of a cat that's both dead and alive at the same time. So what is quantum physics? Quantum physics is how things work at a really, really small scale. This scale is invisible to our very eyes. But it describes everything we feel, we touch, we hear, we experience in this world that we're living in. This invisible world. It is really weird how things work in this invisible world, even though it describes everything we're familiar with. So in this world of quantum, objects can travel through walls, be in many places at once, and be as if they were next to each other when they're really, really far apart. So how do we visualize this invisible and weird and spooky world? It turns out we can use some everyday objects, like a coin. A coin that we're familiar with, it has two sides, head and tail. These are ordinary states of the coin that we are familiar with. But In the quantum world, things are a little bit different. This is what happens in the quantum world. In the quantum world, we are no longer certain of what the coin is. It's not that we've become stupid, but the coin has learned to conceal its information. The coin does not choose to be head or tail. It is actually head and tail at the same time. This is called a quantum state. And that would be the most technological jargon you will hear from my talk today, a quantum state. So the coin doesn't choose to be head or tail until someone tries to disturb it. If you push it, or move it, or change it in any way, the coin will lose its quantum properties instantly, and will decide to choose either head or tail. This is called a quantum state. The same can be said for two coins. Both coins can be put into their own quantum states, but there is a caveat. When you bring two quantum objects really close together, like two people sitting in the audience next to each other today, they will interact. And this interaction will bring up a really mysterious link, which is invisible to the naked eye, but exists between the two coins. Such that if you move the coins really far apart, one over here and one over here, what happens to the coin over here will instantly affect the one over here. And over here could be a few thousand miles away. This means that if this coin becomes head, this one will know and instantly become head as well, with no apparent communication between the coins whatsoever. This phenomenon is called quantum entanglement. And it has puzzled even Einstein himself. And for 100 years, it has puzzled us. But today, I'm going to tell you that we know how to use it to beat hackers. And this is how it works. We take your password, the digital key of ones and zeros, and we convert it into a quantum object, just like the coin. And then we take another quantum object, and we bring the key and the quantum objects close together so they interact. This interaction brings up this invisible link so that wherever the coin, wherever the key is, any disturbance to the coin, any disturbance to the key, like a hacker tried to copy it or steal it, will instantly make the key change. And that will instantly cause the coin to change as well. So the coin is almost like an alarm for intruders, so that you can have in your home. That whenever a hacker tries to hack the key, you will be notified immediately. Let's see how this works in real life. This is you, and all the web services online, eBay and Target in this case. You will have a quantum transmitter, and they will have a receiver. And in between, you have a few dozens of kilometers of optic fiber. This is what we use for internet every day, optic fibers. So you take your key, and you send it into this quantum transmitter, where it creates this invisible link between another quantum object, and you put this key into a light pulse. The light pulse then travels down the optic fiber and goes into the receiver, gets converted back into a key, and then eBay and Target and so on and so forth, they can use this key to open your safe. But if a hacker comes along at any point during the transmission and tries to copy the key, you will be notified immediately. And what's more, the key will be changed. So he will not reveal any information from hacking. So this is a powerful property of quantum physics. Any hacker, no matter how powerful or resourceful or clever they get, now or in the future, they cannot beat the laws of physics. And for that reason, this security is 100% secure, guaranteed security by the laws of nature. Can we really build such a magical device? It turns out we can. And we should be really proud of our scientific community because we have built a prototype and tested that it works. So here on one side you have a quantum receiver, on one side you have a quantum transmitter, and in between you have a few dozens of optic fibers. This is exactly like what I've just showed you before. There is a problem though. Look at how big it is compared to our mobile phones and tablets and laptops. And look at how expensive it is. It costs 75,000 euros to have one of these devices. It is practically impossible to integrate them into our smartwatches, smartphones, tablets, laptops, and so on. And so this is a challenge. But fortunately, at Lancaster University and at Quantum Base, our spin-out company, we are envisioning a revolutionary way to convert light pulses at the microscopic scale, which we call photons. And we convert these photons into quantum objects that can be ultimately encoded into quantum keys. Quantum keys, like I've just shown you, are 100% proven to resistant to hackers. These devices, not only are they incredibly cheap to produce, easy to use, and they're so small, you can fit a dozen of them onto the end of your finger. The day we bring this revolutionary device out is the day no one in the world will ever have to worry about hackers again. Thank you.